Sweet Home Alabama is just using D, C, and G. Now, technically, that is a 1-4-5 in the key of G. Some people tend to look at it as the key of D because that's the first chord, but it really isn't. It's in the key of G. So what's kind of neat about this solo is it's all in the key of G, but there are some outlines of things that make sense for each chord. So that's what I want to show you here is this cool little thing. I've always thought that this first solo for Sweet Home Alabama was really fun to play and very useful. And I'm trying to remember if it's I Remember You by Skid Row has got some really neat stuff that's kind of similar to this. So if you get a chance, you might want to check that one out too. But first thing we're going to do here is we're going to look at this. And of course, what we're doing there is we're outlining a D chord. But we're ending on this note right there, which matches the G chord. So right away we see that there's some arpeggiation happening here, and there's some chord chasing happening here, where the guitar player is trying to land on notes or emphasize notes that correlate with the chords that are being played. Okay, so it's coming off. That's what's happening right at this point in the song. You were going C, D. So over the F, he bends this up. The C, he brings it back down, and then the D comes up, and he does that. It's beautiful, right? So he's playing this note right here. Well, what about this note? So over this F chord, that's the major third. It's part of the chord. And again, if you don't know what the major third is, don't worry about that. But the chord F is made up of the notes F, A, and C. Okay? Well, we're playing an A. When we bend this note up, we're playing A, which is part of the F chord. And we bring it back down, we're playing the note G, which is part of the C chord. And again, I'm not trying to get all theory on you, but that's what's happening is whether this guitar player is aware that these notes are part of a scale and chords and that sort of thing, I'm not exactly sure. But even if they're not aware, they're aware that these notes are working over each one of those chords. So this is F, C, and then D comes up and they do, and then back to this. Bum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum. Okay, then of course we go, because this note also obviously works over D, and it works over a C add 9, and all sorts of different things. So, just kind of creative thinking there. Then we move on to this lick. We come off. Which is just a really neat little country rock blues kind of. Okay, so what we're doing there is we're going to the 10th fret and the 8th fret, and we're heading back over here to the 11th, and then pulling off from 10 to 8. So the way I do this is I pick, pull. Now again, you don't have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. I want you to do it the way that feels most comfortable to you. Then we're going back to the 10. Then we're going to go down to the 9 of the 3rd string, which I'm doing with my middle finger because I'm sitting right in this position. And then over to the 8, okay, which is part of the G chord. And then we have that, which is a nice little blues ending. So we're playing the 8, 10, pull off, and then we're going back to that 10, just giving it a little blues bend. Okay, so we have... And remember, you got to pluck that 8 twice in between because you're ending with it. And then you're going to pluck it again. Okay, so now we've got this. Okay, now we're going to take that little position that we're in here. We're going to do kind of the same thing. So we're sliding from 7 to 9 with our middle finger. In this case, it seems to work best because then we need 1st and 3rd out here. So we're doing 8 and 10 again. Okay, then I'm going to do a pull off and then that little blues bend again. Okay, so I have this. Then, now we're going to go back and do it again, only we're going to morph it a little bit. Which is just really, really cool. So we're going 7, 8, 9, then 8, 10 on the next string. Then back to that 9 with our middle finger. And then back to the 8. See how I'm kind of holding on the 7? Okay, so here's the whole thing again. First one, second one. And then we're going to end with that 10 bend. So we hold the 10, bend it, bring it back, so we get 3 notes out of it. Ba-da-dum. Then back to the 10. Okay, so we have... And then we have this cool little thing. This is the end. Okay, so what's happening right there, we're doing that same idea, only we're sitting in this position. So I'm on my first finger right now. So what I'm going to do is go to my middle finger on 9, slide down to 7, and slide back up. And then I'm going to go to the 8, back to the 9. Now I'm going to take my first finger, go to the 9 on the 4th string. I'm just going to do a little half step bend. Slide down to the 5. And then open. Okay, so we have... Now we do this. Then this one. Okay. So that it's not long, but it's kind of confusing. And I mean, at least it was for me when I was first learning how to play some of these Lynyrd Skynyrd solos. There's so much little stuff going on, and they're just busy. Like, they're all over the place. And they're not all like that, but this is certainly one of my favorites. Sweet Home Alabama, you and I have heard this song about 38 billion times, right? But it gives us an opportunity to go inside the mind of the band a little bit, and certainly the guitar player, and see how this is working a little bit in the way that they're thinking. So it's not just jamming, and I hope you're kind of realizing that as you study other solos, and certainly this solo, is everything isn't always just grab the guitar and play. Although oftentimes we do things like that. And if Lynyrd Skynyrd was live, there'd be, elements within the songs or the concert or whatever where they're doing those things. But there are certainly spots where this solo has been constructed. Somebody sat down and went, okay, whether it's 100% constructed or whether it's 30% constructed with some improvisation, I can't say. But I can say that some of this has been thought out. It didn't just happen, without some sort of thought process. So the fun for us is looking in there a little bit and going, okay, well, how is this actually kind of working? When you come off you're going to this note, which is part of the G chord, you see. So again, they seem like subtle things, but they really are very, very important, where we, as guitar players, tend to get wrapped up with tab, right? Reading numbers or a lick and things like that. And I'm not saying that those are bad. We have to go through those things to start defining our abilities and the parts that we're going to be using in our own playing. But if we can take a step out and start looking at another player that we appreciate, or a song that we appreciate, or whatever it might be, we can further understand how that thinking goes. Again, I can't answer everything about how this player thinks, but I can make connections in there going, okay, so he was aware that this was happening with the guitar versus just, just doing that the whole time. There's melody in there, there's phrasing in there, there's all kinds of stuff that are essential for a classic guitar solo, So practice hard. And again, let us know if you have any questions about it. Thank you for watching this video. If you're enjoying this video and you'd like to support the channel so we can continue to bring you more free content, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications and let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, if you'd like more in-depth training and courses, go to guitarzoom.com and get started for free today.